Hello, everyone, and welcome to PyData Global 2024. My name is Arlis Collins, and I am the developer advocate at NumFOCUS. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce you to Noor Aftab, who will be giving a presentation today on the missing 78%, how women in AI and data can complete the future of innovation. Noor is the global program lead at Amazon Web Services, where she leads the strategic customer program of Amazon S3, overseeing the loudest cloud data and analytics workload globally. So with that, I will hand it over to Noor. Take it away.
Thank you, Rolis, for that wonderful introduction. I'm so excited to be here. And as Arlis and I were saying earlier, that it's so wonderful to be in person, but these virtual conferences are great because they allow us the opportunity for inclusion and connection. And I've been in the data field for the last 15 years. And as a tech leader and a team builder, one of my goals is inclusion, looking at who builds up my team. And every time I look at these numbers for marginalized communities, women are on top of them. There are a majority that come out as a minority. And at the largest congregation of data and AI professionals, I needed to bring this number to you. At Amazon, we have a saying, anything without data is just an opinion. And today, I want to dispel that opinion. I want to bring data to the table so that you, the leaders of today and tomorrow, HR professionals, DEI professionals, data scientists, data engineers, and aspiring data scientists and computer scientists know what is missing. There are only 22% women in data and AI. And the United Nations says it would take us another 131 years to close the gender gap. We do not have the time. This is a race against time. And I don't want to keep you waiting any further, but I do have one request. I bring to you the data, the numbers, the real life case studies, but you are the actual star of the show. I'm just a facilitator. I'm just here to put the numbers so I can get you to think about how to increase women on the workforce, on your teams, and have a playbook for driving profitability, for driving impact, for driving inclusion. I have been in the data field for the last 20 years, and I currently drive strategic customer communication for Simple Storage Service. We have 1 million data lakes on Simple Storage Service, and these are internet scale workloads. In 2017, I started the International Women Economic Council, which is a digital platform aimed to increase the number of women in workforce, management, and leadership roles. And while I do a lot of data-driven work, the thing that gets the most attention is my TED Talk, which is on why women must work. So there's a QR code at the end of the presentation. If you're interested, please scan it. And as I said, we're in a race against time. There is 131 years that it would take us for closing the gender gap. So without further ado, let's get started. I want you to close your eyes for 5 seconds and imagine that this is the first day of your graduate school and you have chosen the computer science as your majors. You're bubbling with ideas and excitement of what the future could hold, what innovative projects you will build, and how you will transform tomorrow. You step into the classroom only to discover you are the only one that looks like you. Back to reality. That was me 20 years ago, the only woman in a class of 36 software engineers. I didn't know terms like gender gap or wage gap, but I felt them every single day. I felt them in isolation, the doubts, and imposter syndrome that whispered, "You do not belong. You do not belong here." I didn't let those whispers define me. Step by step, I built a network, earned an MBA, broke glass ceiling, and started initiatives to empower others. Fast forward today, I'm at Amazon, working on some of the largest cloud workloads, and being in this industry for 15 years, mentoring women through programs like Tech Women, building communities, and driving change for gender equity in AI and technology. Now is the time for me to take a big breath and celebrate. And I do want to celebrate, but my North Star is my twin 9-year-old daughters. And they keep me honest and they keep me grounded. They are the reason I come to work every day. And they are the reason that I'm looking for the impact. I look it through their lens. Am I creating a world that is fair, that is equitable, that is inclusive? And my good friends at Monks, Formula Monks, partnered with code.org to dispel my myth. They reminded me with these 5 young, brilliant, curious women pursuing computer science that they were facing the same struggles I faced: lack of representation, lack of female role models, lack of women's voices in the workforce. That moment, if you're with me through this journey, shattered my pride. And it made me realize that while we've made progress, the systems that create barriers for women are deeply ingrained. And no, I'm not saying that there are 100% men in AI and data. But the fact is that the gender gap hasn't closed. In fact, in AI, it's glaring. Only 22% professionals are women. This is what I call the missing 78%, and which is why we are here. So I'm not advocating that we close the entire 78% and women get all of the pie. Just closing 28% and reaching equity will take us 100 years. Anything beyond that is a distant dream. And I want you to know why it's important to have women. Let me shift to a highlighter here. Because when there are women missing, we miss 45% of market share. There is 21% reduction in profitability. So friends, builders, what you see is that 22% of women in AI is not a gender gap. It is a crisis of innovation. Let me illustrate this through another example. In 2021, an AI startup developed a diagnostic tool for heart conditions. It worked really well, except for women. Why? It was trained predominantly on male data, missing critical signs that appear differently in women. Biases like these aren't theoretical, they're life-threatening. In healthcare, algorithms misdiagnose women. In hiring, AI tools reject resumes with female-sounding names. In fact, 60% of AI hiring tools disproportionately favor male candidates for higher paying roles. In facial recognition, errors are 35% higher for women of color. This isn't AI's fault. AI reflects the biases of its creators. Without women in the room, these systems are incomplete and harmful. And that begs the question, where are the women? Aren't they 50% of the population? And sometimes higher, 52, 54, and sometimes 60% of the population. Then where are the women? And data from World Economic Forum says that there is a 400% less likelihood of women versus men to graduate with information communication technology degrees. That's a broad umbrella term for computer science, data, AI. And the same data comes from European Union. So at the very onset, we have limited diversity. fewer women are entering the workforce. Because just like those good friends from code.org, women don't see representation. Women have gender gap and pay disparity and so many other barriers. Those women that do make it to the workplace, there is a 21% pay disparity. For equal role, equal job, equal qualification, women are paid 21% less. Now, this disparity is not just a number. It reflects the biases and barriers that undervalue women's contribution in AI. If we look at data from IBM, women are not involved in decision making 67% of the time. Yet, business leaders agree, 51% of business leaders agree that advancing women into leadership roles is the key to building ethical, inclusive technology. Now, if we double click on this, again, IBM data, women at C-suite is 12%, way better than Fortune 500 companies where we have less than 5% women CEOs. 14 is bad, 16 is bad, but I really want to focus on this 19% because this is at senior manager roles. Not even at senior management, we have 1 in 4 women. But conversely, their conversion rate is really good. Now you can see closing this gap isn't a fairness issue. It's critical to the success and integrity of AI. So what have I shown you? I've shown you that there is a 400% education barrier between males and females, a 21% wage disparity, and women are kept away from decision making 67% of the time. And here's my appeal to you, to business leaders, to builders, to data science teams, to participants, whether you're an individual contributor or a leader, look at these numbers once more. 400%, negative 21%, and negative 67%. As a natural consequence, by the time women reach mid-careers, 50% of them leave STEM. When women are missing, innovation is incomplete, and technology becomes less representative of the people that it serves. I'm going to show this with gender bias cases. We've already talked about medical diagnosis. So let's take another interesting example. It's Google Translate. If you put in a gender neutral language like Turkish, where you say, this is a doctor, the translate comes out as he is a doctor, she is a nurse. These things also translate into he is a CEO, she is an assistant. Look at all of the assistants, digital assistants with female sounding names. Alexa, Siri. Why aren't there Bobs and Michaels and Dodds? This isn't the AI's fault. It's the training data underlying it. When you look at Google, LinkedIn, higher paying jobs are for males. It's not a competency issue, it's a data issue. And one other example is from Apple Card. When it started, women with strong financial profiles were given lower credit limits. If you're with me, you can see these aren't one-off isolated errors. These are embedded biases, and they shape opportunities, livelihoods, and future. Now that we have seen what happens when women are excluded, let's look at the potential of women in AI. These are some of the things that I came up with. There are so many other things that you can come up with. In fact, you can put them in the chat right now. And you would put similar things, solving complex problems, enhancing team performance, fairer algorithms. So whatever you put will be right. As I alluded to earlier, anything without data is just an opinion. So while we have all of these good things, I want to make it concrete. I want to make it real. And data from McKinsey shows us that having women in the workforce, I would need maybe an eraser and a highlighter. There we go. It would add $12 trillion to the global GDP, 48% higher revenue, 29% user-aligned products, 33% boost in team performance. If you are a leader, if you are a data scientist, if you are an HR professional, a DEI professional, a CEO, anyone looking to build your team today or tomorrow, look at these numbers once more. Economic impact, 12 trillion. Innovation, 48%. User-aligned products, 29%. And team performance goes up by 33%. All while creating ethical AI and innovative representation. But I also wanted to choose from the hundreds and thousands of hidden figures that are creating AI and data for us and show you what it looks like to have women in data and AI. This is Brenda, machine learning engineer at Cisco. Her work focuses on reducing hallucination in AI application. And she works on the intersection of ethics and technology. Good friend and community member, Joanne Palmer. She is the CEO of Clarity AI and founder of Women in Voice, a podcast that has over 65,000 followers, 100 ambassadors, and 20 plus chapters. Her advice for you all, just launch. True to her word, she is launching a book called Your AI Roadmap, based on her 7+ years of experience and all of the questions that she has gotten. I'd move quickly to Stefna Druga, and she is a research scientist at Google's DeepMind, where she creates and launches multimodal AI tools and has been doing that for the last 10 years. But she's also works at MIT open source project where she has empowered 80,000 learners. Her work in AI has 1,500 citations. So these are some of the hundreds and thousands of women working and driving and building AI, creating innovation, creating products. And this begs the question, how do we have more women like Stefna and Joanne and Brenda? And I have a 5-step framework that I want to share with you. We have done enough of awareness creation. This is where you get involved. This is where you can take out your pens and pencils and mark the things that sound interesting, because this is how you will create your future and your strategy. The first step is education. We talked about the 400% disparity in education between males and females. So I bring you cases from the field where they're addressing these challenges. Girls Who Code reaches 670,000 students. She codes 150,000 participants in training in computer science and data. And Grace Hopper Celebration, which is featured here, is the largest celebration that brings 10,000 women every year in North America for representation, for mentoring, for community building, for bringing us all together, for creating those role models for the next generation of women. And what do these things do? They expand the talent pipeline and they reduce the entry-level gender disparities. Now that we have tackled education, let's move on to employment. Remember retaining women by mid-career, 50% of them leave, so these women need hand-holding. And I have cases from Amazon. This is what I'm most proud of, the Amazon Women in AWS program. It's one of the 13 resource groups, and every year I spend 100 hours there for building the future of the next generation, but also for building my own future. This is where I connect with VPs and senior VPs and get sponsorship and mentorship and impactful projects. Similarly, if you're thinking of building something for women founders, empower them with cash, with cloud credits, and with training and mentoring. But most importantly, look at compensating them with fairly. And this is where Salesforce Equal Pay comes, where they have regular pay audits and salary adjustments. With these steps, we ensure that women are valued, that they are recognized, they are celebrated, and they want to retain and remain in the field of information communication technology and STEM and data and AI. Now, with education and employment that's taken care of, the other most important thing is mentoring and community building. Here I share a spectrum of three examples. The first one is Tech Women, which is a United States Department of Education program where they take leaders from 22 emerging markets. So countries like Pakistan, India, Bhutan, Nepal, South Africa, and they bring them into an 8-week immersive program in Bay Area. Now the program has also expanded to Chicago in Europe, and connect them with women that are working in leading tech organizations, so that these women that have billion people populations or population running into 3 or 500 million, and they have these problems and don't know how to solve them, they can learn from women at Amazon or Salesforce or Microsoft or Google. And for 2 years I've been a part of this program, and I have seen the women go back to their community, empower them, train them, and create grassroots impact. And this is why I keep coming back to it over and over again. Now, for the second thing, if you are a woman in technology or a woman in AI, you're just getting started, you don't know your AI roadmap, or you would just want to connect with other women, please consider joining us at the IBM user group Women in AI. This is our safe place. This is a place where we discuss careers and business and growth and potential and everything that's needed to succeed. This is where we share knowledge and foster innovation. So, this is how we build community. But what if such programs are not available to you? Then any individual contributor, any male or female, can start one. And this is what my good friend Apasna did. She's a CNN platform product manager. Right here is Apasna. And she took this initiative. I bring this example because this is so easy to create an impact. She took on threads and asked that she's going to be in Seattle. Who wants to talk women in technology and world domination? 120 of us answered the call in less than 1 week. Due to space restrictions, only 20 of us could be there. This is me just saying hi. And this is how we create communities that are inclusive and that are welcoming to women. Now we looked at the number. That is 78% men in data and AI. So chances are that your thesis supervisor, your boss, your director, your CEO, most of them are going to be males. They were in most of the cases for most of the organizations where I worked. And so it's very important that these males step up and they become male champions of change. They become male allies. And from the real life example, there is this largest program of United Nations women that have he for she campaign, and they have mobilized 2 billion individuals. I know that's a really big number, but that happens with major corporate commitments and their member base in 160 plus countries. But there are also programs at organizational level. So shout out to Meta's Women in AI program that funds 1,000 women, or Google's Tech Makers, and Amazon's program, and Microsoft's program. The idea is not to dissect them in detail, but the idea is to bring them here so that they click a bulb for you. So you have that aha moment. So you realize this is how you can create. Because as I said, you are the star of the show. You have to make it happen. And collectively, we can make lasting changes. Which brings me to all of the things that we have done till here. We have created awareness. We have done activism. And then the third step is when communities come together, there is advocacy and policy making. So with the International Women Economic Council, we work with 3 governments: the government of Pakistan, the government of Australia, and the government of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I know that's the most interesting one. But let me start with the government of Pakistan. So this is a USAID program, Women Leadership in Trade Policy, where we work with the Pakistan Commerce Government Department of Commerce and Chamber of Commerce and Industries. We worked with a lot of businesses to bring together women, and this resulted in Women National Business Agenda. So what happened is that 100,000 women in Pakistan had access to economic opportunities. With the Australian government, we provided opportunities for political participation. But with the Saudi government, that is the most interesting one. Can you imagine that 10 years back, women in Saudi could not drive without a male counterpart? That was their husband or son or someone in their family. So the Saudi asked us, Kingdom of Saudi, how do we bring more women into the workforce? Hundreds of consultants came together with 3 suggestions. 2 are universal, 1 was Saudi specific. First is provide them safe spaces. Second, provide them access to childcare. Third, Saudi specific case, provide them mobility. So as a result of our efforts in 2018, the landmark decision happened and driving ban was lifted from Saudi women. This is how people come together as collective. I've shared the example of the International Women Economic Council, but you can also look into UN Women's STEM advocacy and UNESCO's AI policy. So why do we do all this? Well, BCG tells us this leads to 19% higher revenue. McKinsey says that this adds $12 trillion to global economy. Of course, better decision making, and 51% leaders from IBM research show us that male leaders want women on decision making tables. And then for inclusive AI solutions. And my good friend and president of the Global Women Summit, Irene Natavidad, says, we do not need yet another report to show us that women matter, that they need to be included, that they drive ROI. We need to act with the data that we have. And as my 9-year-old daughter says, chop, chop, it's time to act. So let's act now. Champion diversity in your organization, mentor and sponsor women in AI and technology, advocate for inclusive hiring, and take action to empower the missing 78%. Now I'm going to have 30 seconds of your time. If you like this presentation, please make it your own. Please share it with someone. Here is the QR code. On the QR code, you will also find the TED Talk, Why Women Must Work. You will find all of the reports that are coming soon. Probably in 1 week, they will be available. McKinsey reports and BCG reports. So if you want to make a business case, you can do so. If you want to connect with me and I can make a change, or I can help you, or I can mentor or sponsor or contribute in your project in any way, please scan the QR code. Let's get connected. But most importantly, if this is a presentation, please look through your groups, your organizational groups, your PEI groups, your inclusion, your data groups, and you want me to come to your organization and make this presentation in person, online, let's talk, let's discuss. But most importantly, please take action. It will take us 131 years to close the gender gap, but with your help, we can do so within our lifetime. With that, thank you so much for attending, and I will take any questions. Thank you.
That was inspiring and just incredible. Thank you so much. I don't see any questions in the chat, and we are cutting it close on time. So if anybody does have any questions or want to continue the conversation, I encourage you to ask those and have conversation in our Discord channel. We have a channel open for talk discussions, so you all can continue that over there. Thank you so much for that. It was really awesome, and I'm so thankful that you were here today. Everybody, please enjoy the rest of the conference, and we hope to see you all soon.
Thank you.